And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Looking at the hazardous weather graphic here, we've got coastal flood advisories out for the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta and Kuskokwim Delta coastline, including Nunivak Island there, and that's out for tonight until 6 a.m. Monday morning. And 4 to 6 foot seas here, or 4 to 6 foot waves, I should say, could cause some minor beach erosion. And from there, satellite imagery showing the low pressure area here tracking into the western interior with a lot of rain occurring over the interior today, all the way from Dawson and Whitehorse westward here right into the Bering Sea and northward, lighter amounts of that front as it presses up toward the Brooks Range there. And cloudy skies over the north slope to the Arctic coast, although some clearing in advance of that front occurred today on the eastern Arctic coast with clear skies reported at Barter Island, Kaktovik, with temperatures in the lower 40s there. Front pushing across the Panhandle today, bringing a fair amount of rain across that area and clearing out here over south central Alaska as that pushed off to the east. And we got some pretty strong southwest winds coming up Cook Inlet today with gusts of 46 miles an hour this afternoon at Kenai. Otherwise, drying out here for the Alaska Peninsula and Kodiak Island, and a little bit of a wave here along that frontal boundary out over the central Aleutians. But the next storm, the next major storm here, showing up off to the west with that cloud shield just southwest of Atka Island and Shimia. On the chart today, here's as low, the center of which is over Norton Sound, and the front pushing eastward here and a little bit to the north with areas of light rain up toward the Brooks Range, and anywhere from 1/10 to 1/3 of an inch on the western slopes there, with Indian Mountain picking up about 1/2 inch of precipitation today, more around 1 to 2/10 over toward the Tanana Valley, 40-mile country area. Dried out nicely here, Cook Inlet, a lot of clear skies today, but those southwest winds gusted 44 miles an hour at Anchorage at the airport at 5 a.m. this morning, and this afternoon, Kenai having a gust from the south-southwest at 46 miles per hour. And breezy conditions, but dry with clearing all the way down to Kodiak Island, and that working into the western Gulf of Alaska. Showers and rain along this trough as it swings in toward the Bristol Bay area, keeping it wet and windy over the southwest interior, and then drying out here as you head west into the western central Bering Sea and the Aleutians. This front bringing over 1 inch of rain today at Yakutat area. Otherwise, Sitka had just under 1 inch of precipitation there. And up here to the north, Kotzebue, Selawik had around 1/4 of an inch by comparison. And for tonight, that front continues to slowly push eastward there across the Panhandle for rain, but eventually changing to showers over the northern areas. And scattered showers in the Gulf of Alaska and widely scattered showers here, Copper River Basin, North Gulf Coast, definitely drying out here. Winds coming down here for Cook Inlet, but not ending completely from the southwest with a lower pressure remaining and not really moving a whole lot up here, almost stationary there near the Yukon River. But dry conditions for Kodiak Island and less showers here over the northeast part of the state. Still some scattered moisture up along the North Slope Brooks Range and the Arctic coast. And a little more numerous showers here with this trough in the Kuskokwim Valley, actually about the Kuskokwim Mountains over toward the Alaska Range, really diminishing over Bristol Bay and ending over the Alaska Peninsula. Next storm out here to the west there, pushing rain with southwest flow right up into Adak and Atka late tonight, but dry for the eastern Aleutians. Dry, light winds, Pribilof Islands, all the way up towards St. Lawrence Island. And then for tomorrow, the system moves right over Adak Island in the afternoon, a weaker system back to the western Shimei and Attu. Look for some pretty good winds here in advance of that front, maybe 25 to 35 knots with rain possibly heavy at times, spreading in toward the eastern Aleutians and extending westward to Adak and Atka. Higher pressure, much drier conditions, lighter winds here for the southwest coast, even into the interior, drying out now for the Kuskokwim Valley. Still an area of light rain and showers going here over the central part of the state. Scattered showers with a weak trough there for the Brooks Range, and drying out toward the Arctic coast. Low pressure here developing on this front, kind of slowing it down, so it's going to keep it wet throughout much of the day for the southern southeast coast And this trough up here will keep a lot of shower activity going to the north. So another cloudy, wet day coming up for Monday, but these rainfall amounts should be lighter, especially for Yakutat, where in the afternoon you might see some partial clearing. Isolated showers from the North Gulf Coast, partly sunny skies, mostly dry. South central Alaska, better chance of moisture as you head north there in the Susitna Valley, probably up toward areas north of well, definitely north of Trapper Creek and Talkeetna, up toward Denali Park. You'll probably be back into the showers and rain there, but drier off to the east. Sunny for Kodiak Island. And then for Tuesday, this storm tracks northeastward up toward Kuskokwim Bay once again. And look for gale force winds in advance of this front pushing northeastward here, and even stronger winds coming around the back side of this in toward the Pribilof Islands and in toward the eastern Aleutians, with quite a widespread area of rain here spreading all the way east toward Yakutat late in the afternoon. Maybe not quite reaching it there, but drier conditions in the north, isolated showers with some partial clearing all the way up to the north slope, and a risk of some rain and snow showers there at the trailing edge of that trough, just grazing the Barter Island Kaktovik area. High pressure in advance of this storm, drying it out nicely there for the southeast coast, hopefully resulting in a mostly sunny day with light winds. Temperatures tonight, 40s, lower 50s for the southeast coast, otherwise 30s and 40s in the interior, with 30s mostly right up to the Arctic coast, and then in the lower 40s out here to the west and southwest, mid to upper 40s for the Aleutians. And then the highs tomorrow, 40s and 50s in the interior, with temperatures highs mostly in the 50s here, south central Alaska, mid to upper in some areas there, like the Susitna Valley, mid 50s there for Bristol Bay, mid to upper 50s to near 60 for the southeast coast. And for the morning hours on Tuesday, lows mostly above freezing in the 30s, but staying mostly above the frost point here in the interior, including the north slope and the Arctic coast there, with lower 40s here for south central Alaska and mid 40s there, Bristol Bay, and 40 to 50 for the southeast coast. And highs Tuesday afternoon, 50s, lower 60s, warmest down there, Craig and Klawock near 61 there. Otherwise 40s and lower 50s for much of interior Alaska, all the way down to Kodiak Island and the Alaska Peninsula, and 40s again to near 50 for the Arctic coast and North Slope.